All right, everybody, we back live in the man cave once again, coming to you at our regular scheduled time, coming from a different format, I guess, today. And first of all, I want to welcome both of our co-hosts to the man cave. What's going on, Coach Tumer and Coach Billy D?
Coach Tumer.
Afternoon.
Hey,
Yeah, it's Tumer.
hey,
I'm
Coach
coming at the
Tumer.
Tumer state right now.
If you coach one kid, you're always a coach, is what they say. So well, we got a pretty good show for everybody today, but we want to start off like we've kind of been starting. Don't know if you got anything, but we always start off with Tumer's takes, or not always, but recently we've been starting off with Tumer's takes, so we don't want to kind of go away from that. So, anything on your head, on your dome that you want to get off your chest, Coach?
No, I just want to welcome Polk Hoops, the face of Polk Hoops, to the podcast.
Man,
You
that's
know, now we get to put some of this pressure on you, man. It's glad that you finally came out the woodworks. You know, you're the mysterious guy, man. You're like the headless horseman around here, man.
that was the plan. The plan was never to be on this side, but COVID-19 and pandemic and all this other stuff kind of make us do things a little different. So,
But seriously, man, I gotta just first to kick it off, man. Just what made you want to start Polk Hoops?
well, the biggest thing that made me want to start Polk Hoops was, obviously, I kind of got a lot of experience in Polk County with basketball, just overall, playing also as a coach. So probably got about 30 years total. And I just know that I've been around enough to see the history of Polk County basketball and how respected and how successful we are as a product. And it just once I stopped coaching, I was able to go to more games and see more than just the team that I was with. And I just noticed that it just was not a lot of representation, was not a lot of stories, not a lot of content, not a lot of presenting the model that I thought we deserved to show. I mean, you look at football and you ever have to worry about finding something on football, or and nothing against football. We know that this is Florida. That's what it's about. But we play some good basketball here in Polk County too, and I just didn't think that the teams, the coaches, the kid, most importantly, the kids were getting the due that they should have been getting. So I just thought I would start it and kind of see, do my part. Because, once you're a coach, you're never really away from the game. I want to do my part to kind of give a positive spotlight to Polk County basketball. And I can't tell you that I thought it would end up kind of where it's at and kind of where it's going, because I didn't have any type of, direction on what I want to do with it. I just thought it needed to be done. And sometimes, you can say something or you can do something. And I just felt like I'll be a hypocrite if I'm saying it's not being done and not try to do something about it. So that was kind of the rationale behind it.
Yeah, good stuff, man. It was definitely needed. I was very supportive of you when you brought it to me. And I think what you did last year with it was unbelievable. You know what I'm saying? It set up a trend that was like huge for Polk County basketball that we hadn't had in a long time. So appreciate you for starting this platform, man. And
I appreciate people like you and Billy D and the coaches and just the community as a whole for receiving it, because you never know when stuff gets started how people may receive it, especially when they find out who it is, which is the big reason why I stayed behind the camera and I stayed kind of anonymous with it, because it was never, and it still is never, about me. It's about the product and about the county. And so, but I just know how some people are. They have to kind of see it. They kind of have to see it working before they can get any type of respect or any type of credibility. So I wanted to be credible before we, and honestly, I would have been fine never coming from behind the camera or behind the pen. I don't have people that know me know that's not something that I have to do. But I understand that, it happens and it's all good.
Yeah, it's always needed. You know what I'm saying though? It's just we see it all across the state. And the kids are excited about other people actually marketing them and pushing them. And what better way to have it done if it's done at home too? To me, I think that's where it should start at first. I know it's always been a push and shove situation with how kids look at it, but it'll continue to grow. We got great ideas on the table. You're very open to listening, and I think that's where it always starts at.
And it's we want to kind of create conversation and create a buzz, and I think we've done that, and so we're very fortunate with that. And like you said, we got things that we plan to do. We're moving forward. Hopefully, everything continues to move in a positive way, and people are receptive, and coaches and kids want to be a part of it because everything we're doing, like we say, is to just spotlight and put a shine on Polk County basketball that is well deserved and well intentioned. And we don't care who gets the credit as long as the kids get the and the programs get what they should get. So all right. So first off, kind of talked about it the other day, but the FHSAA has been taking a beating a little bit, and some people would say rightfully so. But don't know if you guys saw it. I'm sure you did. But last week they had like this marathon 5-hour meeting to discuss how they were going to deal with sports because all sports is going to directly impact spring sports. Well, they didn't make a final decision, and so in the last 2 days, there's been a lot of counties. Miami-Dade has filed suit, and then yesterday it came out that 7 counties, of which Polk County is one of them, are talking about essentially breaking away from the FHSAA for the year and just kind of do their own thing. And from what I heard, I kind of spoke with McGriff about the Miami-Dade situation. He said the Miami-Dade situation may extend past 2020. They may be looking to do it permanent.
Oh, and wow.
Wow.
They gave the FHSAA a chance and they kind of blew it. And so I'm not sure about the 7 counties up this way, which those counties are Hillsborough, Pasco, Pinellas, Manatee, Orange, Osceola, and Polk. Now, the conversation and the stuff I've read has said 1 year, but the Miami-Dade, like I said, me and McGriff talked for a little while yesterday. He said they're looking at it maybe permanent. So what are you guys thought on that? Especially Miami-Dade. I mean, what was it, 2 years ago that Miami-Dade, Broward, they won like every state championship that came to the Civic Center. Went back there. So if they pull out, that would be a major paradigm shift. But what you all think about that?
Before I want to get back to that because we got our special guest on. He's ready to get on, Coach. So I definitely want to get back to that that topic. We can. But today we got our special guest today. He's a basketball legend. I had the pleasure of being recruited by the coacher and playing my 4 years at Florida Southern up under him. And also I spent 3 years attending his basketball camp. And that camp alone, before I even got into college, taught me everything I pretty much need to know about building a brotherhood with other guys, learning how to play the game of team defense from other people outside of just your coach. And it was just something special that I think a lot of us who were affiliated or got a chance to go to that camp was part of. A lot of people don't know. When I graduated college, I wanted to become a business owner, and my first ever event that I ever did was a high school step show. And to start my business. You know, sometimes it takes thousands of dollars to try to start a business. I had the opportunity to just reach out to Coach Gibbons and like, hey, I want to try to get something going in the community. And he hands down opened the doors for me, man, you know, and I'm sitting here today with the company that I have 20 some years later because of this man. I know Billy D got a lot of questions for him, Polk Hoops. I'm sure you'll have some things to ask, but without further ado, man, I think it's time we just get on. We got the legendary Hall of Fame coach Gordon Gibbons coming on. Coach, how you doing?
How's it going, guys? I'm up here in Atlanta.
You in Atlanta? You in Atlanta, Coach?
I'm in Atlanta right now. I got scared down there at St. Pete Beach. The virus scared me a little bit, so not really. We had to come back up for something, so we're up here right now.
Good. How are you
back at St. Pete here in a couple of weeks? Good. You know, really good. You know, fortunately, everybody in my family is healthy and safe. Of course, you know, my daughter Holly, who you guys all know, has 2 children, and you know, the decision about school is a big decision in front of everybody right now. But you know, across the country and certainly Southeast United States. And then Jay, my son Jay, who I think is going to be on board here, he's over in Columbia, South Carolina, and they just brought the basketball team back on campus. So you know, it's just as you guys know, different times. You know, I listened to Corey talking about, you know, the Miami situation. I mean, it's different times.
Yeah, it really is. That's going to be a real critical time for the state of Florida if they break out.
Now, Georgia just came out this week and pushed back the start of football. They're going to play games Labor Day weekend. They're going to play a full 10-game schedule. And I think they can start practice this Monday. I think this coming Monday, the 27th. So, you know, not sure all, you know, how it's all going to go. Just like, you know, we're not sure about the Major League Baseball, the NBA Bowl, pro football. We just, you know, it's what we're going through with this thing.
Yeah, that's true. Well, Coach, man, you know, we're glad to have you on. I was very excited when you said, that you would you know, take out some of your time to let us interview you. You know what I'm saying? I've never interviewed somebody of your status to me anyway, other than Coach Williams. I do want to say first off, man, I just want to say thank you for believing in me as a high school player. You know what I'm saying, and give me the opportunity to play up under you at Florida Southern for those 4 years. Beyond the basketball part of it, you taught me how to be a young man. You know, that was something that when you sat in my grandmother's front room, that's something that she asked you, you know, you're gonna take care of my boy. And you promised her that, and you know, you're a great father figure to many of us. So I just want to say thank you for just giving me the opportunity to get away from Mount Dora, have a chance to not only play college basketball, but get a free scholarship and get a free education. And I'm just thankful for all that, you know, before we go on.
Well, you know what's interesting. I call Corey C. What's really interesting is in recruiting. I used to always tell guys that wherever you go to college, 75% of guys settle down in the area where they go to college. And the reason, a lot of times you don't think that when you're a high school senior and going away to college, but that's what ends up happening because you make so many friends and you have so many connections and so many people see you. But, you know, to see you stay in Lakeland and have the success that you've had, as an educator and an entrepreneur is really cool for me. And my wife, who always loves when I tell stories about Corey.
Yeah, Mom Duke's always on the page, and I always see her saying how happy she is for me. So that always put a smile on my face when I see her make a comment.
And Billy D and I go back to when Billy D was back in the early days of travel ball. Billy had to go all the way to Orlando to play travel, which, most Polk County guys had to do that back in the day. You had to go, to either Tampa or Orlando to play. And I sat in the stands on many Sunday mornings with Billy D's parents, waiting for a game. So we go way back, and I followed Billy's career as a coach also. And Corey and I go way back to when he was a Cub reporter, for the Tribune, coming in and interviewing me after the game, looking a little scared, like the crazy man on the sidelines was going to yell at him if he asked me a hard question. So anyway, great being with you guys today.
Hey, so Coach, my first question for you, you were one of the few that
You lost him.
I got him back on. Coach, you were one of the few coaches that did a lot of recruiting in Central Florida, from Polk County to Mount Dora to Orlando, Tampa. What made you want to recruit Central Florida kids, or more Florida-based kids, compared to now? Like I see Florida Southern, they're getting 5 and 6 kids out of Indiana. They go to Chicago to recruit, and it was like a totally different way you did things. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, I'll talk to you about that. When I came to Florida Southern in 1986, and prior to that, I had been the head coach of Team Florida from 82 to 86. And Team Florida back then, in the pioneer days of travel team, was under 20. It was an under 20 team, so it was high school seniors going on to college. And back then, seniors didn't go straight to college in June. They were home in the summer prior to going. And we won 2 national championships with Team Florida in 83 and 84. And being that coach and dealing with what we would do with the Team Florida process is, a week after the state tournament, the 90 best players in Florida were invited to a tryout camp. Some years it was at Stetson, one year it was at University of Florida. They moved it around to the Division I schools. And we would cut it from 90 down to 30, and then from 30 to 15. So for 4 or 5 years, I had the best players from Florida, coming into a camp situation. And so I got to know all the coaches and a lot of parents and so forth. So the players are here. We're winning national championships with Florida players. Why would I go anywhere else? And, Polk County is such an interesting place because it's one of the only counties in Florida that has a large population, a bunch of different schools, all 15, 20 miles away, in little communities. And, I got to know a lot of the people there, and it really helped me recruit the good players.
Yeah. That was
Jamie Phillips, for example, Jimmy Baker, and then going into Orlando and getting Graham Robinson, getting you Mount Dora. Probably the reason was my son Jay was playing at Kathleen, so I couldn't go too far away because I had to watch Kathleen games a couple of times a week. So, but anyway, definitely the talent has always been in Central Florida, and so that's. And we were fortunate to start getting guys to come to Florida Southern.
Yeah.
When I first got there, almost the entire roster were guys from the Northeast and the Midwest. And we changed that completely around, by the middle to late 90s. Almost everybody was Florida.
Yeah, you're good. A lot of people don't know. And I'm gonna jump over there. Billy, you can ask a couple questions. The 2001 state championship team, you played a big role on that team. And after coaching college for so many years and going down to coach the high school level, how was the transition for you to actually get with those kids and actually install the program that you had for us at Florida Southern, and then the talent level that Kathleen had on that team? How was it for you?
Well, that was also an interesting year. I got let go as the head coach at Florida Southern October the 1st of 2000. And, at the time I got let go, Florida Southern's team was ranked number 1 in the country preseason. With Innocent Carey coming back and Ronnie Clark and Cedric Powell and all those guys. But I got let go. So out of the blue, Andrew Taylor called me up, who was a former Florida Southern player, and said, "Hey, Coach, would you come by and help me one Saturday?" So I came by and helped him with some things at a practice. And then he said, "Well, what are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm not doing anything. I don't have a job." So he said, "Well, we have last period PE every day at 12 o'clock, and then we have practice right after it, and then the JVs practice right after that." And Terrence McGriff was a young guy just getting into coaching. He was a JV coach, and Andrew Taylor was the head coach. So I would get there at 12 o'clock and stay till about 5. And then that team, an unbelievably talented team, my Lord. T.J. Walton, Rashard Anderson, Jerron McKiskell, who really blossomed after high school, but, a heck of a talent on the court. You had Julius McClellan, Tevis Parker, Chris Richard. I'm walking in, it was like being at a Florida Southern practice. It was like being in a Division I college practice. So that was a lot of fun. Andrew Taylor was a young coach, and I was able to help him a little bit, put it in a system, and then he took it from there.
Gotcha. Billy D, you got some questions?
Hey, Coach D, how you doing?
Good, Billy.
Coach G, man, it's a lot of memories coming back, seeing you right now. I remember those days when I used to come to Florida Southern camp. I remember one day you dug into me pretty good. I always remember that. But I do have a question.
Well, Billy. Okay, I was going to tell you, Bernie Hayes used to always tell me the guys to get on. He'd say, "Hey, that guy over there in Washington, get on him a little bit." So you can blame Bernie for that.
I will talk to him as soon as we get off this podcast. Believe it. But Coach, what I want to ask you is, what advice would you have for new coaches, maybe a new assistant coach, and maybe a new head coach that is getting into basketball right now?
Well, that's a really good question. One of the things that's happened in the state of Florida now with 700 high schools or whatever there are, a lot of the older coaches end up getting out of coaching early and go into administrative positions, and young guys get the opportunity to coach without a whole lot of experience. Back in the day in the 70s, a JV coach might be 10 years and then get an opportunity to be a head coach. Now guys get it at an early age. So a couple of bits of advice that I would give all young coaches is you have to have a plan. You got to have a plan. You can't just go in, look at your talent, and try to figure out, okay, what are we going to do? You got to go in with a plan, and then you've got to implement that plan. You can't every day throw stuff up against the wall and hope that it works. And if you're in a situation where, in order for your team to be successful, you are going to have to use football players, you've got to have a plan that involves that. And then if you're in a situation where, okay, we may have one football player, that's it, then there's another way of that's another way of looking at it. Because something that's hurt high school coaching to some degree is, and I don't know if it's this way in Polk County, but it is this way in Atlanta, the travel coaches have a lot more influence over the kids than the high school coach does. Yeah. So now, as a young high school coach coming in, you got to have a relationship with the travel guys.
Yeah.
And, some of the successful programs up here in Atlanta, what they've done is they've brought a travel guy in as an assistant and kind of work in that way. So I just think you have to be very creative now as a coach. What I think the biggest weakness of young coaches is, because most of them have played, and they're obsessed with offense. Everything is offense. We're player development, we're offense. We're a new offensive system in. And they don't spend enough time on the defensive end. And, Terrence McGriff, who's had tremendous success now in Polk County, I would think that he's going to put a heck of a lot of time in on the defensive end. And I think that's one of the reasons their program has success. So that's one thing, Billy, with the head coach. With assistant coaches, and this is a big weakness I see with some assistant coaches, the word assistant coach tells you what your job is. Your job is to assist the head coach in any way that you can. Assist the head coach. And a lot of times the head coach will be really strong in one area and have some weaknesses in the other. And I think that's the role of the assistant coach, to come in there and fill that gap and continue to learn. And I think both head coaches and assistant coaches, you've got to continue to learn. This game of basketball is constantly changing. Back in the day, Corey, when you and Billy played, we took two big studs and stuck them down on the low block, and now all five guys are out on the perimeter. It's just the game is constantly changing, and as a coach, you got to change with it. I see another guy sneaking into the office here. I don't know if you guys can see him, but
he masked up on us.
Just saying, following our CDC guidelines. We appreciate that.
Hey, Coach, I got a
defense.
Do you still offer? I know at one point you were doing the defensive clinics around the state, around the country, basically. And I finally got a chance to go back and watch some basketball last year, and I was very disappointed. And especially just Polk County, I was very disappointed in seeing the way the team defensive system was played outside of Bartow. And I know attending your camp and also playing for you, that was probably one of the biggest things that made not only me but made teams successful. And the lack of seeing that now, it's kind of disturbing. Do you still offer those camps, the clinics?
Yeah, last year, Corey, I had 38 different schools that I work with on 2-day defensive camps, usually starting right around the 1st of June and going right up through into the first week of basketball practice in of November, when schools can start to play. And obviously I haven't done anything in June or July this year, but I still offer it's Coach Gibbons, Coach Gibbons camps and clinics. And the whole idea of 2 days and 4 practices is 12 hours of teaching the entire coaching staff along with the players exactly the way to teach man-to-man defense in your practices as you prepare for the season, and then also in the spring and summer when you're bringing your younger guys up and getting them ready to play.
Yeah.
And I think Jay would agree with this. If a high school player has played in a good man-to-man system in high school, when he gets on that college campus where he signed his scholarship, when he gets on there in June, if he has a feel for defense, that head coach already has him rolling into the rotation. If that guy comes onto the campus and he has no idea, it's really going to be hard for him in his freshman year. And all of you guys have seen guys go away to school, really good players, and you wonder, why aren't they playing? Why isn't he playing, that guy? But a lot of it is because they just have no feel for defense. And, the college coach, he makes $3 million a year. He hasn't got time to fool around. You have 2 bad years of college and you're out. And they don't have time to fool around.
The one
Coach,
thing
I was lucky enough. I was lucky enough going to camp and playing under Coach Williams, who played the same system you played. So you're right about that, because when I came in, I think that's why I got so many minutes. I know my freshman year, you played me 29 minutes a game. And, as a freshman, my roommate only played 3 or 4 minutes. And I think more so because I understood the defensive system that you put in. So that's correct.
Yeah, no question about it. It's a big advantage, and it's something that all young players need to be exposed to, so they have a feel for it.
Yeah.
You were gonna say something, Coach Look.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the number one thing we look for a lot in recruiting. Guys that have an understanding, but on the next level, on the NBA level, if you can't guard your matchup, you better be able to score like James Harden. If you can't guard multiple positions now, you're not gonna make money at this thing. And that's one thing that we preach every day, is that you have to be able to guard your matchup and be able to guard multiple different positions on the floor. And if you can't, you're going to struggle, 1, at the college level, but two at the next level, because there's only one James Harden, there's only one Steph Curry. If you're not, Carmelo Anthony is one of the only players ever to come out of the 2-3 zone at Syracuse and be successful in the NBA, and that's because he's one of the best scorers of all time. But I'm with you, Corey, and like these guys today watching high school basketball, these coaches are not teaching the basic principles of defense, which I think can help a kid come in right away at the college level.
Billy D, I know you got the questions for Coach. I know also Billy D was one of those guys that are frustrated because he was a defensive guru, and he got to watch that, and it kind of disappointed him a lot that he would come around basketball.
Well, the only reason I became a defensive guru because we were so horrible offensively. There was no sense of even practicing, so we just kept working on defense. But I know that Coach Gibbons is a legend in Polk County. If any coach played man in Polk and the surrounding area, more than likely they had some kind of contact with Coach Gibbons. Coach Gibbons, what I would like to know is, how did you develop your philosophy on man-to-man, and who was the person that influenced that?
A good question. I was an assistant coach at the University of South Florida in 1978, and we would go into defensive practice, and the coaches would yell at certain players about being in the wrong spot or this or that or the other. But the guys would come to me and say, like, well, where am I supposed to be? And it was funny. I was new to the staff. I didn't really have the answer. So I read a book that year that was written by Bobby Knight of Indiana. And it was the first book that I've ever seen where there was an exact position to be, exact, based on where the ball is and where your man is. And that was the biggest influence for me, that book, because you could walk out to practice or have guys in the film room and stop the film and say, where are you supposed to be? Okay, what are you doing? Why aren't you there? You look where you are. Those type of things. So that had the biggest influence on me. And then I want to say Corey's sophomore year, Billy Donovan took the job at University of Florida, and he put in the Rick Pitino press. And I kind of took some stuff on that press and added it to kind of the way I wanted to do it. They would show man and then kind of play zone and so forth. I wanted to do it all man. So the combination of the Bob Knight, you got to be exactly in a spot, and then the Billy Donovan press, I think were the biggest part of putting that defensive system together.
Coach, I agree with you. I kind of did the same thing when I was developing my defensive system. But definitely, you had the foundation, and we basically built on that. Jay, I would like to ask you a question, and what I would like to know is, what influence do your dad have on you and your coaching style and philosophy right now, and what is different about that from your dad?
Hey, hold on 1 second. Let me walk outside. I'll get better reception. Hold on.
I could tell you, Billy D, that when I coached, when I did coach at the middle school level, and when I coached with Bernie, I basically used that same system. That's the only system I knew of. I just ran exactly what we were able to do at college. I used that exact system, and it was funny because a lot of kids on the AAU level, like Coach was saying, they would learn different things. So someone would come in and have no idea, and then you teach that system, and it showed like they'll be amazed at how well that system works.
Hey,
I agree with you, Corey.
Repeat the question, Billy.
I would just like to know what influence your dad had on your coaching career, and what differences have you noticed from your dad that you're different from your dad in coaching philosophy?
I would say number one now that I've been at the high major is you got to have a zone. You got to have a zone. And my dad, Corey, he doesn't ever play zone. So he doesn't believe in zone. So one thing that we're different on is I think you got to have, and it could be 2-3. I really like the 3-2 or the 1-2-2, whichever way you do it, because I think you can trick some people into thinking you're still in man. We have a really good 3-2 here at South Carolina, and that's when I've developed it, that you have to have a good zone because there's going to be a night or two where you're playing a high-level team and you just can't. You got to change it up. They got your number that night. And so that's one thing that we changed. But he's been so influential on me, my dad has, and coaching-wise, about having a system and being consistent. Like Corey, you knew we were coming to practice every day for 3 hours. That little thing, you knew you'd get to lock in for 3 hours. It was consistent. It was every day. You knew what you got. And then the system didn't change. So like you can go out and teach a practice right now and have the point guard here, the 2 guard here, the 3 running the left lane, the 4-man inbound or the 5-man inbound, and the 4-man running down to the lip of the rim. So that's instilled in me, and I've been blessed that I've worked for Frank Martin now, and he's the same type of guy. Old school teachers. I think the best coaches were also teachers. High school teachers, middle school teachers, elementary teachers, and some of the best coaches, if you look at John Beeline, Coach Gibbons, my dad, you Billy, you Corey, you guys were all teachers first. And I think that has a lot to do because you have to build a lesson plan, like, building a practice plan is like a lesson plan. You start from practice 1 to practice 100. So I guess that, like, I write down a lot of notes now on every practice, and I'll go back every year and kind of look like what we're doing on, November 10th last year, 2018. What did I do November 10th, 2017? And kind of look at stuff like that. And I take that from my dad. And then basic man-to-man is man-to-man and defense travels. Your offense doesn't always travel. Like, I don't think we're as talented in the SEC as some other schools, but our defense comes every day, and how hard we play comes every day. And I remember watching your teams, Billy, and how you played. The old Lake Wales teams, I mean, you play hard every possession, and you're going to be in a lot of games, And then the other thing I preach is keep teams under 30 points a half. You're going to have a chance to win the game. My dad taught me that. And if you keep a team under 35% shooting, those are two things I will always carry with me in my whole coaching career. But does that answer it?
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
So, Gibbons, you was about to say something?
Yeah, one of the things that I tell high school coaches is this: you come out, you're going to come out tomorrow night, and maybe you're going to make 4 threes in a row, get a steal and a dunk, okay, and be, 15 for 21 from the free throw line. The next night is completely different. You're 0 for 7 from threes, okay? You missed a dunk, okay? And you're 7 for 14 from the free throw line and missed 3 1-on-1s, okay? But here's what's going to be the same. No team scores 10 points on you in a quarter. And that means they got 20 at halftime or less. And you can control that every game, whereas you can't control the threes and the free throws and that thing. And so every game you go in the second half, you're either up 24-19 or you're up 35-19. But the other team's got 19. You can control that. And
right.
I think if that's part of your plan, then you're going to have a really successful basketball team regardless of your talent. Now, if you're really talented, like say a Bartow this year, okay, then you're talking about, that's going to be every game. It's going to be, 35-18. And, you're in control of the game.
Yeah.
It's on you, Billy.
Coach Jay, could you let the players know what are the intangibles that you look for as a college coaching coach? G, you can follow up with that also.
You say, repeat the question?
The intangibles that you look for in your when you're recruiting.
Like last time I was talking to Corey about this, IQ and heart. I look for heart. I'll watch guys in practice. I like to watch guys in practice, and then more so than games sometimes. But I think heart's not one. Like heart and toughness is one of the main things we look for because, playing for my dad and then coaching with my dad and then coaching with Frank Martin. You got to have thick skin. You can't be, Frank, and we preach here all the time. We don't want to recruit a kid. We want to recruit a boy and make him into a man. And one of our philosophies here is, which I love it, is we don't want you to get a job. We want you to keep a job. We don't want you to make a family. We want you to raise a family. And that's the two things that we fight. So we look for character, I'll say. IQ is IQ and heart is probably number 1, number 2 things we look for. And we're big on watching practices. Because I think that tells you a lot about the kid's characteristic and his internal drive. If he's showing up 2 minutes before practice, Is he's the first one out of the gym after practice? That's going to carry over. That ain't going to change. So we look for that a lot, man. That's something I look for a lot. I'm going to watch you in warm-ups. Are you talking? Are you communicating with your teammates? You know, I think the best teams in the country are the best communicating teams, you know? So that's a big thing that we look for, too.
And
like Keyshawn.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Jay.
You know, he was talking today. Big Keyshawn was talking today. And, like, you know, when he got here 2 years ago, he wouldn't have said a word in the workout, you know, in the weight room. He was a leader. Go ahead, Pop.
You know, an NBA scout once told me this, and you know, I was asking, what are you looking for here? You know, you guys already know who the top 20 players are in the country. Why are you coming? What are you coming to look for? And he said, one of the things that I like to look for is, does the guy really love to play? Does he really love to play? And you guys have all had players and known guys that, yeah, they'll show up and play. But how about the guy that will just stay in that gym all day long and play? Okay, and when you get up into the college level, which really is a business, and the pro level is an absolute business, do the guys still have that unbelievable love to play? And I think that's an important thing that coaches are looking for when they're going in and seeing a talented guy.
You can go ahead, Tumer.
Hey, Coach, I'm more on the storytelling, so I just Billy D got the good questions, but I want to tell a few stories. It's the first one. I don't know if you remember my senior year. We were playing pickup ball at the wellness center, just after the wellness center. Jay, I see the smile on your face. So Jay is guarding me. He wasn't there, but that's the year I got the hip pointer. I pulled a hip pointer, and I had to sit out preseason. And that probably was the most exciting injury I ever had, because I didn't have to do all the long distance running, Coach.
Hey, look at this. Hold on. If I can put this up against the wall, hold on. I gotta get my Tumer impression. He used to run. Oh man.
Hey, you know what? Hey, Jay, you know what? Me and your dad were talking the other day. And Barnes will tell you this too, man. I go to the lake. I run the lake. I run Lake Hollywood every day now. And I hate to miss it. I don't even want to miss it, running the lake. I got up at 5 this morning and made sure I ran it.
Jesus. That's crazy right there now. That's nuts.
You know, when I see the pictures on Facebook of Corey running the lake, okay, here's my memory. Because at Florida Southern, a part of our plan, like I was telling you, I have a plan. Part of our plan was we're going to distance run and conditioning in September. And, of course, September in Lakeland is pretty darn hot, okay? And it's going to be about 3 o'clock. And then I would always post the results of the 2 mile, the 1.5 mile, 2 mile. And Corey was always down on the list. So one day they run, it was really, really hot. Maybe Corey came in 10th or something like that. And he's sitting in, and remember the old Jenkins Fieldhouse has those steps that go up from outside. He was sitting on those steps and just sweat pouring down and everything. And he said, "Coach, man, I don't do distance running. You take me up in the gym right now. I'll beat everybody in every sprint. I said, "Corey, you're missing the whole point. You needed to win that 2 mile race. You finished 10th. So, that's one of my Corey stories.
You never told that one, Coach. Appreciate that one.
No, another good one before Billy D, you get back to the questions. Jay, I know you remember this. It was our senior year conference tournament. Rick Brown brought it up earlier. We're playing Berry. We beat Berry 2 times during the season. And I had the day before we had the awards banquet. So I was co-player of the year. And we're losing at halftime. I think I had 2 points. So the whole coaches conversation in the locker room was somebody needs to give the damn award back. The damn award back. He didn't call my name. We'll say, there's people in here got awards and they don't deserve them. They didn't deserve the award. I'm looking around like, man, he putting all the blame on me. Well, luckily that motivated me a lot because I came out the second half. I think I had like 24 points in the second half. But man, coach didn't mind telling you, hey, if you were the leader of this team and you wasn't bringing it to the table, he was gonna let you know.
Yeah.
Well, you know what the rest of that story is. The rest of that story is we won the next night in the conference championship game. Okay, then we went on to win the NCAA regionals and go on to the Final Four. And I don't think Corey missed a shot in March.
No.
Okay, that was always my thing. I do not. He missed a bunch of shots in April and February and January, but I don't think after that motivational halftime speech, somebody needs to give that trophy, that award back. I do remember that locker room.
Tumer, you remember this one? We come back. We played in the Wide World of Sports. We played in like the D2 Classic. And I think we got beat, but then we come home and we went like 6 in a row. So it's like right around Christmas time, and we lose back to back to like Warner Southern,
Yeah,
and like this other D3 team. But Warner Southern, like in both games, we were up like 20. And like the Warner Southern, we were up like 17 with like 3 minutes to play, and they came back and beat us in like triple overtime or something, double overtime, and you and Jimmy Baker missed a bunch of free throws down the stretch. So I'll never forget this. I can remember we walked in the film the next day, and Coach, you're sitting there. You know that old little film room, like small as shit. We had a little office film room, right? Everybody had to bring their chairs in. He's sitting there, and he has like this old desk, and he puts the telephone out there. So everybody's sitting down, and hey, he acts like he gets somebody to call the phone. And we're all sitting there, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, what the hell's going on? So he answers, and he's like, yes, sir. This is Coach Gibbons. Yes, sir. Oh, this is the FBI? This is the FBI. Oh, yes, sir. Okay. So you're coming down here to investigate? You're coming down because we have to be fucking point shaving. And he slams the phone down. He's like, FBI just called me, and he just said we're getting investigated for point shaving. We're the only team in the country that can lose 2 games back to back. It's mathematically impossible. And he has it. Then he like puts up the dry erase board. He had like the movie projector screen down. He pushes the movie projector screen up, and he has like play-by-play of like the whole like the last 5 minutes of each game, the whole half. And then we start watching film. You remember this, Corey?
Yeah.
We start watching film. He's like, let's watch Mr. All-American. Mr. All-American, our starting point guard, Mr. Player of the Year. Let's watch him right here. Let's watch his effort right here. Let's watch this one. And he plays it like Corey like gets beat off the dribble or something, and then he gets fouled, and Corey misses both free throws. He's like, let's watch this one, Mr. All-American. Choke him on. Oh, man, I'll never forget that. Oh, man.
Jay.
That was one of the best all time.
Hey, Jay, that I remember that because we spent an hour and a half watching 5 pieces of film. He would not leave those segments. He would just go back.
Rewind it. He would just rewind it. Let's watch it again. Coach, we've already seen it 5 times. We don't need to see it the 6th and 7th time, okay? We've already seen the same play 8 times.
Hey, those
Billy
were
D.
the nightmares.
Hey, Billy, you asked one of the roles of a good assistant coach. Okay.
Yes.
My assistant coaches used to have to come up to me and say, now, coach, if we don't end practice here in 5 minutes, they will not be able to eat tonight in the cafeteria. They will not be, the cafeteria will be closed. So, yeah, just, that's all a part of it, I guess.
I remember we used to get there. We used to get to the gym on Sundays, like at 12 o'clock, and the calf closed at 7.
650.
You tell the NCAA time 20 hours a week limit. Shit, we were there 7 hours on a Sunday.
650, we getting out.
650. Oh man.
I don't know that I agree with that, but you know.
We would get back to the dorm to watch the second half of the 4 o'clock football games. Like, we would miss all the 1 o'clocks. We would get back to the 4 o'clock football games, the second half of them.
Hey, but you know what's crazy, Jay? Like now, with me even coaching my girl, I use those same things. Like I will film them, or I'll sneak and film them. So when we have sessions, I would just go over what they doing wrong. And Corey can tell you about this. The same thing, man. I take those tools in the stepping, and I use all that what Coach Gibbons had me doing. And I get on the girls the same way, and they hate me about it. Like I'll do the film, I will rewind over and over again. You know, so that's crazy. Go ahead, Billy D.
So, G, man, your camp setup, I think, was ideal to skill development and team development. Why don't those camps pretty much exist anymore?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. And what the number one reason for that is travel team. Okay. And the fact that every kid plays travel. Like you might be the 12th guy on your high school team, but you're a starter on a travel team somewhere. Every kid plays travel. And so high school coaches only have their guys now. You know, they might only have them for a couple of weeks in June. And if they go to a camp, the high school coach wants to go to a team camp where he plays games, just games. You know, you can be there 2 days and play 8 games, something like that. Well, if you think about it, your team is really not getting better, with just playing 8 games. You need to play a game and then work on the things that weren't good and then play another game. And that was kind of the whole concept of the Florida Southern camp. You did instruction and team workouts during the day, and then played games later on and had championships and so forth. But 5-day camps now, the cost of that camp to the camp director is very expensive with dorm rooms and food and this and that and the other. So the cost of those camps got excessive. And then another thing is head college coaches now, they make so much money, they don't really need, just to going through the whole camp process. But I think one of the things that I liked about the Florida Southern camp was that I like camp. I mean, I'm a teacher. I like to be out there. I'm not one of those coaches that comes at the end of the week and takes a picture with the campers. I enjoy being there, getting to know the players, getting to know the coaches, and but those type of camps are pretty much a dinosaur. And most college camps now are 2 or 3 days. That's it.
But
you're in and out and gone.
You know what was amazing about your camp, coach? I know Billy D and Corey probably know about this too. In the years that I played high school on, any team that won your camp was playing in the state tournament.
Yeah. and probably in the finals.
Yeah, in the final.
Yeah, that was really something. And it was like about 5 years in a row we had state championships in the top divisions. Back then there were only 4 divisions in the state. Now I now when I go on the computer to try to see how a team did, like maybe going to look at Billy's Lake Wales teams or something, I can't figure out what are they 5A or are they 7A or I couldn't figure it out. But back in the day, there were only 4 classifications, and really 3 that the top 3 classes really had good. If you were going to play in a state Final Four, you are a real good basketball team.
Yeah.
Now you see, one team beat the other team by 40 points. I mean, that didn't happen back in the 70s, 80s, and into the 90s. That didn't happen.
Hey, Coach, I got one for you, Coach. I know Billy B got a couple more questions, then we're gonna let you go. Coach, my freshman year, I played 29 minutes. I remember Ivan was a senior captain, and I played more minutes than Ivan. So I don't know if you remember, Ivan turned his ankle one game. So I'm going into that week thinking, hey, I'm about to be the first freshman to start at Florida Southern. And then you started Eric. Coach, why you didn't start me that year? Why you didn't start me that week that Ivan was hurt? I just want to know 25 years later, how come that I came in excited like I was about to finally start as a freshman, and then you just broke it down and nope, you're coming off the bench still.
Well, here's the real reason for that. And in today's political days, I might get in trouble for this, but here was my philosophy. Okay, if I start a freshman and he's having an unbelievable year, at the end of that season, he might think, "Oh, hey, I could go to UCF. Okay, I could go to Florida. That's where I should be anyway." So here was my philosophy: if you don't start a freshman, ain't no Division I coming in and taking a guy that's a non-starter on a Division II team. So after all these years, Corey, that might have been the reason. But because when Corey was coming out of high school, no travel. There was no travel. Okay, so the only way people really knew about you, especially a state like Florida, is so big, wasn't really recruited. We only had, I think, at the time you were there, maybe 4 Division I schools, but it might have been 5, spread out in a big state. There were hidden gems all over Florida. And so, it was just, it was a different time. If you had come, the exact same player came through high school today, you would play on a travel team out of Memphis or Atlanta or Miami. And, everybody in the country would see you. It was just, it was different. So, Corey, I think, was probably arguably the second or third best point guard in the state of Florida in his senior year. And none of the big schools were recruiting him. So, and we had quite a few other guys like that at Florida Southern during that period of time. Thoron Smith, am I pronouncing it right? Thoron Smith, coming out of Auburndale. I mean, he was a top 50 in the country player that nobody knew about. Okay, no one knew about. He committed to Florida Southern, and then at the last minute, we were about to sign him early. Tracy McGrady got involved a little bit and ended up Thoron with us early, and ended up going, I think, to Ball State.
Yeah.
But guys like that were available in Florida back in the day. So Corey, I couldn't start you as a freshman and have you average 20 points a game. You'd have been playing at Georgetown or something.
Coach, I'll tell you, one thing that was good with the recruiting is Larry Murphy. My senior year, after we were leaving, getting ready to leave camp, Larry Murphy sat down with me and asked me what I thought about Florida Southern at that time. And it was before you guys even got involved. Like Coach Williams probably knew you were going to recruit me, but Larry sat down with me for hours, just giving me the rundown of the school. And that was like 26 years ago, man. And me and Larry are like brothers now. We feel like best friends. And that's one of the stories just from you being involved in his life and him passing that torch down to me to come to school, man. I appreciate that. Larry didn't have to have that conversation with me, but he pressed about how I need to come and look at going to Florida Southern. And the other thing was you didn't rush. I ended up signing early, but I remember you told Coach Williams, hey, he doesn't have to sign early. He's our number one guy, and he's gonna be that unless he decides he doesn't want to be. Used to have that board up with the recruiting, and I got a chance to be in the locker room and film room to see that board of how the recruiting goes. Do you think they still do recruiting the same way as you did, where you got your first group of guys, the second group of guys, and then the third group of guys?
Yeah, I think so. Just I would say that is schools still have their list of guys, and one of the things that's different in Division I and Division II. In Division II, it's usually head coach and his top assistant. They pretty much are on the same page. In Division I, now you got 3 recruiters plus the head coach. And so a lot of times, one guy's juggling a couple of guys here and a couple of guys there, and then they have, in their recruiting meetings, they narrow it down to, first choice, second choice, third choice, position by position, and so forth. But, recruiting is the name of the game because you have to have really good players. All good teams have really good players. And coaching is really important, but the talent is important too. And getting guys that fit the way you want to play is important.
That's true. Go ahead, Billy D. Yeah, I know you get that.
I got one more question. I don't want to keep you. We're living in unprecedented times right now. In situations that are going on. One thing that I noticed when you were coaching relationship at what advice or what role would you play now if you was the head coach of a team with what's going on right now in America?
Yeah, I mean, I've thought a lot about it. What's interesting in my career that you guys don't even know about is I got a head high school job at Tampa Jesuit High School in 1970, and I was 22 years old. I was just a couple years older than the guys. And back then in the 70s, 22-year-old guys didn't get head jobs. Guys were, in Tampa there were only 5 high schools, I think, and it just kind of worked out for me to get that job. And in my 3rd year, we went to a Final Four, 1973. And the next year, the junior college in town, Hillsborough Community College, they terminated their head coach on Thanksgiving weekend. So I coached the junior college team and the high school team that year. Okay. And I would coach a Jesuit high school, and then, me, Corey, 3-hour practice, I would leave and drive across town into to Blake, the old Blake High School, which was right on the Hillsborough River. And that was like in the early years of integration. And for me to drive into Blake High School, there weren't many guys like me driving into Blake High School, okay, back in the day. And I coached that junior college team, and, we had all African-American guys. I've always, everybody's just been the same to me. A basketball player is a basketball player. Now, I understand because, I've been in homes and I know, I know what it's like, but I think, and Corey can probably relate to this, and I think guys always trusted me and knew from their interaction with me that everybody's the same. We're all children of God, and that's kind of, I think when I look at it, it's unbelievable the changes that have been made from when I graduated from college in 1968 till now, 50 years. A lot of things have changed, but things have got to continue to change, and I think what happened this year is, is going to lead to more, no question about it. One interesting thing on George Floyd is, he played basketball at South Florida Community College, and it was Tony Shields had been the coach there, who's a Polk County guy, but Tony was gone, and the coach that took his place was from Houston, and who recruited George Floyd. And I used to go in junior college recruiting. I used to go to two places. I go to Polk, and I go to South Florida because I could get to both of those, in 20 minutes. So after practice, I would go see different teams. And I went back and looked at my thing. George Floyd was on our recruiting list, and might have ended up being one of your teammates, Corey. We ended up making him. I can't remember why, but when I first saw the name, I said, "Damn," and so forth. So I thought that's not an answer to your question, but that's something that's a part of what's been going on the last couple of months.
Yeah. Well, Coach, man, I'm saying for all of it at Polk, man, it's been an honor. I thank you for coming on. Again, I know I text you, you and Coach Williams probably a couple of weeks ago, how appreciative I am of the things that you guys did for me and being a mentor in my life, and helping me become a successful man. Without you, I probably wouldn't be in the situation I am. So I'm very thankful of everything. I'd rather tell you now than wait later on down the road to tell a story about how much you meant to me. It's always good to know that even now when I'm in situations running my organization, I can pick up the phone and call you to get advice, and you're always there with an open ear to tell me what's right and what's wrong. So I just thank you from the bottom of my heart for recruiting me, mentoring me, for you and Miss G treating me like I was your own son. Just thankful for that, and we're thankful that you came on and just talk a little bit of Polk County basketball, talk college basketball and everything else, man. You're a legend, not only to myself, but to a whole lot of people in Polk County, and we appreciate everything you've done for the basketball in Polk County.
Well, I thank you guys for saying that. That's really nice. And I do want you to know this. The happiest time in my career were the 13 years I spent in Lakeland. There's so many different people that I've met, and both my daughter Holly and Jay both went to school in Lakeland, and then on Florida Southern. So those were great years, and I miss you guys.
Yeah, miss you too, man. I do got one thing that's special to me, Coach. I was the first one to get you to the Elite Eight.
That is true, and I appreciate it. I appreciate it. All right, thanks a lot, guys. I enjoy. Hey, and by the way, y'all are doing a great job. The top 20 all-time players in Polk County and each individual team. That's really neat. And I've loved how the banter around the county and the interest in Polk County basketball has been promoted by what you guys are doing. So it's a great job.
We appreciate you, Coach. Appreciate you a whole lot.
All right, Coach G.
Thank you for taking a little time to talk about this.
All right, that was great, man. Hey.
Yeah, man. So, I knew that both of you all would jump right in on that. So, kind of fell back to my behind the camera mode right there. But that was good. A lot of stuff that he was saying was kind of crazy. It's kind of what we were talking about last week as far as about having a program and a system and a philosophy. All the stuff that he's saying that he did is stuff that we were kind of saying has kind of been lacking, across the board. We got, one school for sure that's doing it. You got other schools that are trying to do it, but he just kind of gave a blueprint. He just gave some jewels. So hopefully people were listening. Hopefully people had their pen and pad out and they were, taking notes, because that was what they call free game. I mean, that was free game.
Yeah.
From a legend. So
if you're a basketball coach, if you're a Polk County basketball coach, you heard Coach Gibbons say he does a 2-day clinic, 4 practices. Whenever we get back started, I think every coach in Polk County should take that on. I mean, you all need to learn, outside of Bartow, the majority of you guys need to learn the right way to play the team defense, and you should teach it. I mean, it brings champions, and it's important that you guys, take in that you got a legend out there that's offering and teaching the way to run man-to-man defense, man. And it works. Billy D, I know you can say it for yourself. I played in that system. There's no better.
I mean, even with Bartow, we're not excluding Bartow. We just he's already doing it.
Yeah.
So we Gibbons say that he got McGriff when McGriff was first starting out. So McGriff has been doing it. So it's like, you can see that a McGriff coach team or Billy D coach team is using the principles, and I guess what we saying is clearly they work. Those guys have had sustained success, not one year here, 1 year there. They've had continued success. So, but I mean, it's interesting what he said. I mean, as far as like when he came out, he had the whole state essentially. They would have 90 people that try for Team Florida. You can't get 90 kids competing for one team now because, like you said, you may have 90 teams as opposed to 90 kids. And so I
was part of that 1 year. I mean, I had to try out for Team Florida 1 year. And I played on the older team on the tryouts, and you got kids like Trace McGrady, Art Salary was in the gym trying out for the younger team, man. And like you said, nowadays kids more so they don't believe in the word trying out. They all think they're good. They don't want to showcase their talent. That tryout, man, brought out a lot, because I was the only Division II player that made that Team Florida team. You had Ladarius Jones, he was going to Clemson. Vince Carter was going to North Carolina. Roy Leaf was going to Seton Hall. You had all these guys there, and it set a platform for me. Like, hey, I'm going to the smaller school, but it's things that I can do that you guys can't even do. And that one of them was playing defense. You know what I'm saying?
Guard people.
Yeah, guard people. And I've took that in, man. I can tell you a Coach Gibbons story that I ain't say on the podcast with him. We were playing Tampa 1 year, and he's a team defensive structure guy, man. I can remember being able to go to him and say, Coach, for these last 5 minutes, let me guard him this way. It's our system, but let me guard him this way because I'm playing him up close. He's a little quick, might be just as quick as me, and it helped us win a game, man. So those are things that with that defense that go along with Coach Gibbons, man. I can't say enough about him. That a lot of you guys experienced it just meeting him. I mean, again, he's the greatest coach I ever. I say he's the greatest coach ever in Florida history. Just that's coming from me. I might be biased because I played with him, but he was the same coach. He treated you the same, no matter if you were the 12th man on the team, if you were the first man on it, if you're the best player on the team, you got treated the same exact way. If you came to practice and you was in mood swings, he would let you know. If you thought if it was a date, he knew everything about you. Like he would know, Billy D, what rec you played at. For me, he would always say, "Hey, you're gonna take that back to Mont Dore to the College Lot Park." He'll tell somebody, Jimmy, go back to Oakland with that. He knew everything that'll touch you. He'll hit you with that to get you motivated. He'd be like, man, hold on, how you know about College Lot Park? How you know about Oakland? That was
that was a word that Billy D kind of talked to him about when he asked the question. It was important for him to build a relationship so that he can have a conversation with you on your level to let you know that you wasn't just dribbling the ball for him. It was more than that. And he was checking you, which is what any kid want. Any kid want to be coached and want to be have that relationship. And that's, something, I mean, that's even bigger that he had 90 people in the gym. I see Art kind of jumping in saying, I mean, you can imagine 90 of the best players in the state and you got to get down to 15. And I mean, that was his recruiting. I mean, he didn't have to really go because they were right there in the gym. I mean, that would be great if that model was in place now. And like he said, he's looking at how you guard people. And that's just not the first thing that you hear nowadays when you're talking about a kid. You don't talk about how a kid guards somebody. You talking about can he score. That the conversation and the focus is totally shifted from back then to now, and it
even his camps, man. He knew it. He knew the kids at the camp. Like he said, he was hands on. He wasn't the type of coach that actually you caught on the late end. Billy, do you remember the mornings? He would call Lake Wells out there to do a defensive workout, and if somebody did something wrong, he'd give it to you, bro. He give it to you like, hold on. It was no mercy. Like he was your coach while you was at his camp. He walked around. He socialized with everybody. I mean, it was just a great feeling, man. Just not even before the recruiting. That's what we've been missing. Like you said, because coaches make so much money now, they probably don't enjoy it. But he brought brotherhood to basketball, man. To me, I mean, we were just a bunch of kids that played together. But that week, you learned your team. You learned what your role would be. You learned everything you need to learn in that 1 week, man. I hate kids don't get that opportunity to have that exposure now. Like he said, because of AAU and all the so forth for the travel ball, it hurts the teams a lot. Because
and you all asked that question, like, why do you think that? Because his camps was like legendary around this, Florida, around Central Florida, around this area, not just because of the teams, but like you're saying, because of what you got when you went. And that just don't happen now. I mean, you go to camps now and the focus is just to roll the ball out and go play. It's almost like you pay, it's purely financial. You pay this money for your team to come. We're going to guarantee you, the games so you can run around with your kids, but that's it. It's no instruction. There's no like he's saying, you play a game, and if you've been playing man the whole while where your rotation is horrible, you're not forcing the guy baseline. You don't have, you're not hitting the hoop. You don't have no time to correct it. So now you're just gonna keep doing the same thing wrong over and over and over again. So how are you gonna get any better if there's no time to fix it? And so, I mean, his model obviously was a great model, as evidenced by when he was around, he was local, you had more teams that played better defense because pretty much everybody went to the camps and got the instruction. So I'm gonna say that's the only reason, but I think it's a major reason. It's a major void with the instruction that he was able to give through his camps that is just not around anymore.
Yeah,
not a lot anyway.
Well, I know we got to move on, man. That was a great one, man. I surely appreciated it, man. I was excited. I told a couple of my friends back home, man, I get to actually interview.
Yeah, that was a bucket list.
One of my pops, man. That's like that's pops right there, man.
That's a bucket list for you and Billy D. That's why I didn't say nothing.
Yeah, man.
For y'all, we sometimes you gotta, at Polk Hoops, we ain't nobody here trying to do all that, so we bike up and.
But sometimes kids don't understand that, like, we as adults now and coaches, like, we had people we looked up to. And again, it don't always have to be the person that's the same your color that makes that big impact in your life. You know what I'm saying? And as you can see, like him and Coach Williams were true. And I come from the same, bro. You know me, we come from the same type of home living. There were two big influences, man. He made sure that you were taken care of. Like you were his kids, man. Even when Jay got on campus, man, and Jay was there, that's his son every day. But hey, you my teammate. But hey, now you got 13, 14 brothers. And Jay loved that, you know what I'm saying? You know, and I think we all thought like, man, Jay finna be coming in as a freshman. How is this gonna be? Man, he's the same way. You got 13 brothers. He's gonna treat you the same way, Jay.
And you respect that. I mean, at the end of the day, you just want a fair shake. Kids just want a fair shake, and they want to
gave you that.
You want to make sure that you ain't BSing them, and clearly he was that way. What you gonna say, Coach? My bad.
Just to keep in perspective on how much of a legend Coach Gordon is, probably every state championship team in Polk County since the 90s, he's had some type of influence on that team in some shape or form. Yeah. And something ties back to Gordon Gibbons. And that's just how important of an influence he was on Polk County basketball.
So, question, can a Polk County team that does not have Coach Gibbons' influence win a state championship? I mean, I know they can, but it hasn't happened.
It hasn't happened. The way these kids are built now, I mean, I question mark it because of the way these kids are now, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say like guys like need to take in and jump on those opportunities because you learn more than just defense. He's teaching you a system of in all ways that you can use, you know what I'm saying? But, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to knock any coaches what they're doing who's new and hasn't had a chance to meet the legend, the old coacher. You know what I'm saying? So, but I just don't see it.
And I guess what I'm saying is, maybe I should have framed it different, not necessarily saying deal with Coach Gibbons because everybody may not have that, but I guess kind of his main philosophy was defense, and not necessarily, I guess, man-to-man defense, but that's what he hung his hat on. But just defense, like that being your calling card.
Defense win championships
because if we look at it, the teams that have won the state championships, they've been good defensive teams. They haven't been, Billy D said they weren't a great offensive team, but they won a state. Not saying they couldn't score, but they were.
You think about it. You think about how defense to offense, how important defense is because it's a collective thing. Like if you playing that system, it's 5 guys. You don't let your one guy get beat. Like NBA, it's a one-on-one thing, but his style, it was a team thing. So you went to war with each other. On the offensive end, sometimes it can get to the point where you relax, where you're depending on one guy. There's one guy scoring 40, one guy scoring 30. But on the defensive end, all 5 guys lock in. Like I can say this about Montdora when they won in 98. They played against Ladarius Hope, and he was averaging like 40 a game almost, man. Baby Jordan went to Florida, and our best defender locked him up. But the team system was that reason of it. Even watching Billy D, man, Baby was good. Baby was great. But you had 4 other men on that court at any given time that would lock in and lock up, and they were doing it for Lake Wells. And nowadays you see kids all about them, bro. And as good as a coach you can be, if you can't install something that makes it about the team, which defense does, they're gonna always miss that point because everybody think if I score 20, I'm gonna get recruited. What he's telling you is what he just told us. Hey, you can come in and be the best offensive player on the planet. And I watched this Graham Robinson, frat brother. He could score 20 at any given time. He couldn't guard a banana standing still. And his freshman year and sophomore year, he struggled to see the floor. I mean, the prettiest jump shot could give you, but he came from a 2-3 zone offense, and he had to learn how to play. You know what I'm saying? While we were there. By the time he was a senior, he learned that system, and he became one of the best players in the country. But coming in, he didn't understand that, and coach wouldn't play him. He couldn't guard nobody. You don't play. And then you got guys that were on the team that could guard, just play hard. It's like he said, go to war with you. You get in a dogfight. This is the guy you want to come with you. You don't want the offensive pretty boy. And they would play more minutes because they defended so well. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the thing about coach system, teaching man to man, it actually helped you teach zone better because it's all about positioning, communication, and just knowing where to be at on the court. And like Tumer said earlier, coaches should take advantage of, the opportunity to have those full practices with them. But it doesn't have to be only board coaches. Get together with your girls coach, and bring everybody in the gym and take advantage of it. But it'll be hard for a team to win it without some type of influence from G, but it is possible. It's just not, a very high percentage.
Tumer, Art and Rick Brown, they laughing at you, telling you putting Graham on blast.
Man, I got to put somebody on blast, man. It's only right, to put somebody on. So I got to catch somebody. I didn't tell Coach, and I forgot because he was talking with the conversation so good that Jamie Phillips is playing zone defense. And I think if Coach would have heard that, he'd have probably said, "Give me Jamie's phone number. I need it right now."
Not even that thing, but I didn't want to put Jamie out there. Jamie is a Gibbons disciple, but he plays zone.
I called Larry Murphy doing that, man. And the first thing I told him, I'm gonna call Coach G, man. You playing zone? I'm gonna call Coach G on you. Just got to do it. We don't believe in zone.
But even his son said that's something different that he do though. His son said, with zone, and his dad ain't believe in zone, but they use some of it up there in South Carolina right now.
Yeah.
So times change, and you gotta kind of adjust a little bit. But
I know we missed out last week, man, and I think a lot of people waiting on the big breakdown of the top duos. I don't want to go 2 weeks without it, man. So y'all ready to get started with the our top 5, the best duos in the last 20 years? We're gonna hurt some feelings.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. When we put the top duos up, we kind of tried to give some, our breakdown was we wanted to at least mention at least 2 from each school. We know that there's plenty of schools that have more than 2, and over the past 2 weeks we've gotten a lot of flack. Which anytime we start to put a list up, we've kind of gotten used to it that we're gonna get some flack because you got some people that you're gonna miss. But hey, it's conversation. Yeah. So we put a lot of people out there. So I don't know what we said we were gonna try to do is get down to 5.
Yeah.
Now we at about 30 right now though, so
it won't be hard. But when we do get down to 5, my question gonna be is what make you think you better than them 5? You know what I'm saying? Like we say with anything, why is your duo better than the 5 that we pick? That's just a simple question. Like when they did the top 20. It would say, "Oh, such and such don't deserve to be on there. What make you think you better than him? Like what you did stat wise that this guy didn't do. You just had that with Bradley, and then we have to remind guys Tony Bradley was All American. Yeah, these 5 groups that we picked, we picking them because they just that good, man. You know what I'm saying? They impressive. It ain't saying that the other 30 hasn't been impressive. I think we reached by mentioning 30, and I think a lot of people start doing the homeboy thing, start throwing out names, and just as a podcast, we take the names in, but I don't think it was 30 in 20 years. I couldn't see it, but we here to debate, and we here to just give our great opinion.
You think it was more? You think it was less than 30?
Man, some of them names I see, man, they ain't do nothing.
But then you got some of them that if we would have went, because we legitimately could have did 5 or 6 or 10 for Lake Wells, 5 or 10 for Kathleen. Yeah. So, if we were just trying to, pay homage to
some of the names. I guess start seeing some of the names. Guys ain't even get recruited to go to college, and they got a duo. Man, you at Public Warehouse right now, man.
Well, shout out to Publix.
Yeah.
Shout out to Publix, ain't that wrong? So, all right. So, how we want to do this? So, in order, I guess I need to pull the list up and call them out, and then y'all just knock them down. I'm gonna get out.
Hey, I will say this: that we didn't mention 2 names that I do want to talk about that need to be added to that list was Derek Simmons and what's the kid name, Billy D?
Marvin Williams.
They actually did serious business when they were together. We got the and I'm going with the Idell Bell and and the Miguel Paul, man. You know, or you can go Idell Bell and Dominique, because Dominique and Idell together. I personally like Idell and Dominique better than I like Miguel and Kevin. I'm gonna be the one to say that.
Oh boy.
If you look at the stats,
Hey, Billy D. Oh boy.
So me and Billy D got a point to prove on this because we're gonna have this conversation. But I like the Idell Bell and Dominique Davis needs to be mentioned in that Kathleen one.
All right, so how we want to? So I guess this is how we can start it. We can go from school to school, and I just call the two names, and it's almost like we saying, yeah, they move on to the next round. No, they don't.
But you can't limit the school. If the school got two good ones, they still can stay, right? We don't want to just take out.
Yeah, and we're not saying so. This we go they individual by list, but we're gonna go by school. So
we're gonna
do
okay.
We're gonna do the old school team Florida where we coming in the gym with 90 people, and then we're gonna get it down to 30. You want to do it a different way, Billy D?
No, got one question. This starts the season 2000-2001, or is this 99-2000?
If we saying 20 years, I mean, because I thought 99-2000, but that's the debate. That's whatever you guys want to do, because we didn't mention the 99-2000.
I'm asking because I thought it was 2000-2001. That's where I started.
Yeah, it got to be 2000-2001. If we're going 20 years, yeah, that's right. Because we added in this year, correct?
Because if not, I'd have added Terrence and Willie Williams for sure from the Cubs. But that's the reason why I didn't mention them, because they was outside of that 20-year period.
Gotcha. No, we ready. We'll go 2000 on. We'll keep it how we had it.
Okay. So we're gonna just they move on. No, they just honorable mention. That's where we at.
Yes, sir.
Yes, no, or honorable mention. That's what we're doing. The 3. Yes, no, honorable mention.
Well, I'm just saying, yes, they move on to the next. Right now, they all just walking in the gym.
Okay.
The old school Gore Gibbons team Florida. They all in the gym right now. So he said they went from 90 to 30 to 15. So we're gonna go from first, second, and then we'll get to the 5. That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
So the next round will be more than 5. We ain't getting the 5 right now. All right. So Brandon and PJ, yes or no? They move on.
Yes, for me.
Yeah.
All right. Brandon, bad phone went out. PJ and Kendrick.
No.
So PJ and so Brandon and PJ
from Auburndale.
From Auburndale. And all right. Bartow, J. Frog, and Wheatland.
Yes.
And Derek Brooks, Chris Perry.
Hold on, I'm saying Billy D didn't give an answer.
Who's the other one from Bartow?
No, we're doing them separate. They're not competing against each other for the school, so it could be 2 from the same school. But J. Frog and Wheatland's right now. I'm
thinking J. Frog and Wheatland's. I would say no, because of just stats wise. You know, from both of them put in work, and both of them was
Coach, they got the state championship together, Coach.
I understand that. But you was talking stats earlier.
Yeah, I'm all of it. I'm talking all of it. I'm talking all of it though.
So we keeping all of it in perspective.
I mean, we can break it down. If you give me a reason why you're saying no. If you're just saying stats is no, I want to come back and agree with you or disagree with you.
Well, I just know we got to cut it down to, you know what I'm saying? So it's going to be some tough decisions made. And my thing is, they was my biggest nemesis. I'm a fan of J. Frog and Wheatlands. But as a duo, that was more of a team than anything. You know what I'm saying? So, you still had Mervin Polite, the TJ kid. You had more pieces to that than, their impact as a duo is what I'm saying. So I'm on the fence with them, but I can give them an early nod and say, yeah.
All right. So, they move on. Chris Perry, Derek Brooks.
No.
No? Okay.
I mean, with the criteria, especially, we look at overall, you know, the impact that Wheelings and Jay Fraud had has been more than Derek and Perry.
Okay. Moving on to Jenkins, Chris Burgess, Jared Stevenson. We're not looking top 5. We're just next round.
Definitely the top duo to come out of Jenkins. Both of them put up numbers, so I think they have to be considered. But when you look at overall impact, you know, they didn't win over there. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be the knock on them.
So when we saying the duo, are we establishing a criteria? Because are we saying what we base? I mean, y'all. It's just y'all too, but is it like
Yeah,
they
I'm
put
trying
up
to
numbers?
bring on
That
the
they
help.
real estate? Was they exciting to watch? I mean,
All that matters to me. All that matters. I mean, I just they didn't even bring Jenkins to district championships.
Agreed.
So I mean, they were good. Like their mention is an honorable mention, but I mean, I didn't go out there to watch them play.
Okay, that's fair.
So I'm saying no as well.
Okay, Sheldon Dennis, Lance Williams, same boat.
I like both of them. I think I threw their names out there first, but if I'm breaking down to the top 5, I just think they need to be mentioned.
Okay,
but I don't see like top 5, category. Okay, but they definitely need to be mentioned.
Do they move on?
No, I'm saying no.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm trying to bring on Aunt Sanders. You know, he's been around basketball for a while, so I'm gonna see if I can get him to get on.
Okay, Kathleen, Miguel Paul, and Kevin Foster.
Yes.
Yes.
Kathleen, Miguel Paul, Idell Bell.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Kathleen, Rashad Anderson, TJ Walden.
Definitely.
Definitely yes.
For the top.
All right, I'm just they move on. So all 3 of the Kathleens move on to the next round.
Yes.
All right, Lakeland, Quinn Everett, Richard Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, I love that. I love them. To definitely move on.
Yes.
Right. Hey, Cole. Let's get this straight now, because we're saying yes to move on. We want these guys to know that we don't pick off top. We don't put them in the top 5. They got mentioned to move on. Give us a little respect for mentioning. Like I know a lot of guys that get mad. Like, man, how he picked such and such. If we're saying yes to you now, that means we respect everything y'all did, your body of work. But we don't put you in the top 5. Don't get mad at us like, yo, we hating. We ain't hating. We just looking at our opinion.
We just keeping it as clean as we can. All right, EJ Moody and Raheem Dumas, Lakeland.
I didn't go watch them play.
Neither. So we did play against them, but compared to Rich and Quinn, I would say no.
Okay. Shaquan McArthur, Kevontae Wilson.
No.
Okay. All right, moving on to Haines City. And we took some beatings because people say that we didn't consult with the right folks when we listed the Haines City people. So Brandon Street or Tony Joyner?
Brandon Street and Tony Joyner?
Yeah.
What's up, Ant?
Hey, what's up, man?
What's going on, boss?
All right, man.
Trying to break down this top duos, and we needed a little help on it. It's me and Billy D, so we need a third vote because Polk Hoops ain't gonna take no. So if we get stuck, we want to kind of have a third vote in to help us out.
Right.
I say no.
Okay, so Brandon Street or Tony Joyner? We just moving on now. Do they get to move on or no? What we doing? Yeah, we doing old school Team Florida. We got all the kids just walking in the gym right now. So we going from the original invites to second round, and then from the second round to the final starting 5 we're gonna have. So right now we just saying, based off of the original invite, do they get to move? Do they get a call back for the next round?
Okay.
So Brandon Streeter, Tony Joyner. Everybody quiet.
I would say they were good. Don't get me wrong. state champions, but
Antbo said he thought that the list should have included Barry instead of one of them two. Barry was the MVP of the state championship team.
Yeah.
That's why I said no.
Okay, so you're saying no because of the wrong person.
I like Streeter and Bear.
So you think it should be Streeter and Bear instead of Streeter and Jordan?
For me, yeah.
Would that be a yeah or still no regardless? Gonna do you real quiet. I know it's a late Wells. I ain't said anything, so I see you kind of banging away on the screen.
Actually, it's not. I mean, they fall into that category. It was just more than them on that team.
Okay.
You know, it was
so
a lot.
It's hard to pull a duo out of us. What you saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. So it's a no.
So it's a no for me, you know, because like I said, it was so many that contributed to that team. I mean, usually they had like 4 or 5 people in double digits. It wasn't just them two.
That's tough. That's fair. And they won state, and then Coach Collins had about 3, like you say, 4 or 5 guys that was double figures, and a couple other guys was close to double figures. So that's a fair. All right, James Taylor, Robert Williams, Chuck.
I would say them over that first group. I would give them a nod.
Yeah.
Okay, so James Taylor and Chuck. All right, Brian Morales and DJ Law.
No.
And there was another person that was I don't
even know who them two is.
Okay.
Who was Brian Morales?
He's a little Hispanic kid that was pretty tough for them. You know DJ Law though, right? He DJ Law. Yeah.
Law was on the Netflix thing, right?
Yeah, Law was last champion. He was tough in football and basketball too, though.
Yeah, I say no. I don't even know the other kid. I mean, he probably was good, but he wasn't talked about.
Okay. All right. Lake Region. Lake Gibson, Preston Fredericks, and T.O. Somebody jumped on there saying how many points that Preston and Frederick averaged as a duo. I can't remember because I don't have it pulled up right now. But the stats to whoever was that posted it was like they were from the numbers. Now I don't know about wins and losses, but stat wise they put up some numbers together. So anywho, Preston Frederick, T.O.
The top duo, you know, we looking at overall, you know, we looking at winning and things of that nature. I mean,
no.
Stat-wise, I mean, you got to consider them, but, you know, overall, I would say no.
Okay. LaRon Shaw, Chris Duval.
They definitely need to be mentioned. They definitely would, you know, that is a duo.
So we've already mentioned them if they on the list.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just repeating because we are a bunch of big haters when we say no. I'm just repeating so we can be clear. You know, they're gonna say we hate, but we move it to the top 5. I say no.
LaRon Shaw, Chris Duval.
That's a no for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I say I they needed to be mentioned because they was great, but not top 5 great. No.
Okay. All right. Lake Wells, Jarrell Blocker, Dominique Jones.
Yes, definitely.
Marcel White, Russell Wilson.
Yes.
And the other one y'all just said was
Hold on, Billy. You got something to say about that? Billy D don't like it.
My bad.
It's not like I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? We talking about 2 great players. Both of them averaged about 15 a game, and both of them was All-State. So, you know, it get a yeah for me. But like I said, even with my teams, you know, I had 4 people that averaged double digits.
I like Derek. I like Derek and Marvin over them though.
I do, and that's what.
So
you know,
if we because Derek them came in late. I would say no to them 2 and Derek and Marvin.
As far as numbers goes, you know, Derek was over 20 a game and Marvin was close to it. As far as stats goes, their stats are going to be better than Marcel.
I think put both of them down.
We can, you know, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. But they all ain't going to make it to that 5.
So they both get a call back. They both get a call back. Okay.
Baby are going to have a huge influence because of the overall of what they did, going to the state finals twice, one being player of the year for the class of 5A, and being, first team All-State, that's where they hold their weight compared to the other two Lake Wells duos.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, they all three moved on. McKeel, Bacon, and Corey.
Definitely, yes.
Definitely, yeah.
Mulberry, the twins.
For that overall, I say no. They have to be.
We're not saying top 5. We're just saying moving on to the callback.
What I'm telling you is, like, I'm looking at debating in my top 5. Even though we're gonna move 10 to 15 on, but I'm looking at, can they be in the conversation in my top 5? Even if we move on, they don't.
Okay. Ernesto Giles and Derek Randall. Mulberry.
No.
Okay.
Bo was good. I don't even know who Ernesto Giles is.
All right. Ridge, Terry Rose, Mike Wright.
I say no, because they're not going to be mentioning it. The conversation for that top 5, they're not going to hold enough weight for it. That's why I say no.
Okay. Lake Region, Shard Phillips, Derek Stribling.
Who?
That's a tough duo.
Phillips, Derek Stribling.
I think that might be the best duo from Lake Region, especially stat wise. So I was, I see for those.
Quinn Cullop, Demal Morris.
I like the first duo better.
I say they definitely, we had to mention them, but I say no. Because they had a good team. They had a great team. You can flip up Quentin and Damon Quentin and Darrell Quentin and Smurf. So I say no.
Yeah.
Tenor Rock, Carlos, Odom, Trebor Williams.
No.
And I know the Carlos, he got on there and said his stats with somebody at was it Bartow? Talking about him and Chris Perry. How many stats they put up? Something he had. I remember reading something about him.
He had a good team.
All right. AJ Flat, Warner Haven.
Say it again.
AJ Jones and Flat. A couple people said we should have said Flat and Buddy. So
that was the 2 guards, right?
Yeah.
I would say no to Flat and Buddy.
I say no to both of them.
I say no to Flat and AJ.
They got a team. Yeah, they in that J Frog Wheatland conversation. They just team was just good.
Yeah.
Because you got the big boy that got the tech that change. You can rotate. So they didn't have so I say no.
Okay. Devon and Chance.
Yes.
Me.
Keyshawn and Bryson.
No.
Okay. All right. Did we miss anybody?
The Santa Fe kids.
Oh, yeah. Santa Fe. So Joe and Javon?
I would say yes. I would say yes.
Ray and
I would say no.
Which one you think is the better duo?
So who's the duo out of them? Who you taking? What 2 you taking?
I'm not taking none of them to move, because like we're saying, we're breaking down those guys that we're mentioning. I just can't say that I'm going to have the conversation of them going to be in the conversation of my top 5. That's why I'm saying no. Like he's probably saying just because he's trying to pick someone from a school. I'm not picking just from.
Wise Joe and Javon put up numbers. You know what I'm saying? Ray was, the glue that held everything together. He the one gave them their toughness, and everything. He was a general for that team. But stat-wise, Javon and Joe put up numbers. You know what I'm saying? Do I think they're a better duo to be talking about top 5? No.
Yeah, that's why I'm not mentioning.
So, but
just not to move on, or you just saying? You saying no to none of the duos?
I'm saying. I mean, they definitely in that mention conversation, but I mean, who do we said no to a couple people that I like? I would take over Joe and Javon.
And
This
with that,
thing, we can. Many of you all want to move on, can move on. So it's no. Then it'll get the second cut will be a lot more cutthroat.
I mean, if it's not unanimous, I'd say that we leave them off. You know what I'm saying? I think both of us gotta agree.
Let me ask y'all this: Joe and Javon or the AJ and Flat? If you had to go to war with two players, Joe and Javon or AJ and Flat?
I'm gonna take.
Are we comparing them right now? Or are we just moving them? I'm just asking the question. I don't have a vote.
What I'm saying is, we've said no to some better duos than Joe and Javon to move on. Like we're talking moving on. They're moving on to be in a conversation in that top 5. We've had. I saw several names that we've had that not taken from what they did in the career, but I'm taking AJ and Flat over Joe and Javon in the day, in the night, in the morning. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. So if I can say no to them, I can say no to them. I can't move them. I don't see like me being able to move them on. If I'm saying the Haynes City boys, I'm saying no to the 2 Haynes City boys. I'm saying I'm looking at guys that I feel like on a 2-on-2 matchup would eat these guys. You know what I'm saying? Eat these guys lunch meat.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying no. So not that it definitely should have been mentioned because they did make history for Santa Fe. They were great. They were a great duo. If you put it either way, but I just don't feel like I take Sheldon and Lance before I take them two. Me or Chris and Jared.
I mean, everybody else been unanimous, Barnes. So I say we just leave them.
So, you see where I'm coming from with it, though? Do you see where I'm coming from with it, though?
With you.
Yeah.
No, I got you. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go back to the what's name here real quick. Well, let me ask, y'all think we left anybody off, or y'all feel good with these names? Or you want me to go back into the post and see what other people were saying about other names?
You can go back to the post so we can just shut it down.
Yeah, because we just want to make sure that and like I said, when we first put it up, it was a lot of conversation with it. So let me So we feel right now, well, let me just pull it up. I had it up, but then I had to put this on with this new technology. So I know, like I said, as I'm looking for it, I know one duo that the guys felt like we left off was the Bartow, Odom, and Perry. And then somebody felt like we left off Brooks and Bradley. I'm just trying to remember as I'm going to look for it. So them two right offhand, I know that it was said that we missed.
Yeah, so we went back and got
late. We went back and did Simmons and Williams. That was one that they said we left off.
But hey, one Carlos Brooks and Perry Odom on that same team?
No.
Who played point guard for the Carlos and Perry? Who was the point guard?
TJ was that went to play at Lincoln for.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Jay Fraud coaching that.
Yeah.
So here goes
that year in the legend.
Is he still there? Is he still there?
He was. He should have been a junior or senior, maybe.
I gotta ask Jay Fraud, is he still up there? We forgot that.
This is Ambo, his 3. He said Brandon and Antonio Berry. He also said the Chico Morales kid and Derwin James. And he said Dominique Jones and Terrell Pritchard.
Dominique and Terrell. Derwin James, another guy. No, I saw them play. I ain't like them as no conversation in my top 5.
We already talked about
they should be mentioned though.
Already talked about Buddy and Flat. Somebody mentioned Mike Green and Marcus Gent from Jenkins, but I think that was before 2000.
That's 99. Yeah, that's 98, 99.
So then, of course, somebody mentioned Milo Johnson and Tiger Wright from Harbondale. I'm just throwing the names out there. You said Willie Williams and Terrence Christian. Oh, wait a minute. Somebody mentioned Willie Williams and Terrence Christian, but that was before the 20 years.
Yeah, that was a year too late.
Okay. All right.
If not, they be in there.
Iggy and Tito Police at Lake Gibson.
No.
Okay.
Iggy was the dominant player. They ain't no.
We talked about Keon and Rosemond.
Yeah, we talked about them. Yeah.
Chris Duvall and Al Cunningham at Lake Gibson.
Peanut. That was Peanut, right?
Yeah. Tony Bradley.
Pee-wee.
Yeah. Tony Bradley and TJ from Bartow. The kid Ishmael Celestine and Chance at Winter Haven. Kivas Thomas and Charles Rourke. I'm just calling names out. Y'all stop me whenever you hear one that makes sense for you. Doug and Dewberry at Lake Wells. Savante and Doug at Lake Wells. Alante and Doug at Lake Wells.
That was 11, right? That was 11.
I'm just calling names out. Nick.
Alante was on the state championship team too?
He was.
Nick and TJ at Lake Gibson.
It would be 13. That's the year after I was gone.
Okay, so those are the ones that was in the conversation. But that's one. Let me look at the other one, see if I missed any on that one. Just don't want to miss nobody, so we can report
Nick and TJ, right? You did mention Nick and TJ.
Nick and TJ, yeah.
Okay, you mentioned them. So make sure we hear that. They hear that they got mentioned.
And then Eddie Anderson mentioned. He said Luke Anderson and Dwayne McCaleb. He said that in 2018, Luke averaged 24 and 12. And Dwayne McCaleb averaged 17 a game.
What else did he say?
He said none of the other duos are close to those numbers, just facts.
No, what else did he say? He said something else on that post
before he started. He might be a little biased. Eddie
Anderson, you biased. Eddie Anderson, you biased.
And then Iggy said him and Julius McClellan would be their duo to sleep.
But they wasn't the best player on that team that year. That's the Rashad TJ team. No, I'm responding back to the ones I know. I'm gonna respond back to.
Okay, Derek Simmons and BJ Lee, and that's the last of them. So based off them names, did we miss anybody?
Nah.
Okay. All right, so we went from 30-something plus, and we down to 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 10, 12, 13. Down to 13 duos.
I was thinking we'll be around 15. 13 is good.
That's good.
Y'all got cut through on a couple of them that originally were supposed to get through and didn't get through. So y'all started y'all 5 around early. But it's cool. Hey, it is what it is, you know.
He can say any one of them that he want to.
All right, so now we down to make sure you look in the comments. I'm looking at the comments now. Make sure we ain't miss nobody that.
I brought up Dominique and Adele. We brought them up. But I mean, you already got 3 of them out there. No, we ain't missed none in the comments.
We ain't missed none in the comments?
Yeah, we good.
All right, so we down. So just to recap, everybody. So the duos that moved on, we down to 13 now. Is Brandon Giles and PJ from Arbondale, J Frog and Wheatlands from Bartow, Miguel Paul and Kevin Foster from Kathleen, Miguel Paul and Adele Bell from Kathleen, Rashad Anderson and TJ Walden from Kathleen, Quentin Evan and Richard Edwards from Lakeland, James Taylor and Chuck Williams from Haines City, Jarrell Blocker, Dominique Jones from Lake Wells, Marcel White, Russell Wilson from Lake Wells, Derek Simmons, and Marvin Williams from Lake Wells. Dwayne Bacon, Corey Sanders from McKeel. Sharp Phillips, Derek Striblin from Lake Region. Devon Walker, Chance McSpadden from Warner Haven. And that's where we're at right now. So Coach Monty is 13 that moved on. I just called him out. So we going from 13, we saying to 5, right? Or
Yes.
then another. Now, do you both want to set the criteria for what happens, or you just kind of
we just freestyle it, kind of just have our opinion.
freestyling it?
Yeah.
But
So-
I like the fact that we're keeping the intangibles in there and their impact on their program, and winning. All of that should
Even their impact in Polk basketball too. A lot of those didn't make it to state, but they just had impact where people came to watch them play. They put up good numbers. They went on. They had a stellar career afterwards. All that stuff matters to me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so how you want to do it? You just want to how you
We name them, then we can just kind of give a brief summary of what we think about them, and then we can
Okay.
All
right.
see if you're on the same head. That's cool with Billy.
Yeah, that's fine, man.
All right,
We got
so alphabetical, school-wise now, not alphabetical, but school-wise alphabetical. First up, Brandon Giles and PJ Turner.
They were tough.
Very tough.
They were very tough, and they definitely put up numbers, especially that year 06. They was putting up numbers.
Yeah.
For
So
a few.
I got a question. Are they, when you think about that team, do you think about them as a duo or a trio? Can you separate them two? Can you separate Kendrick from them two? I'm just asking a question.
It's hard to really separate them. That's why I kind of said no when we had the circle of all three of them, because you were still mentioning PJ, or you can go Kendrick, Brandon, PJ, Brandon, Kendrick, PJ. You see what I'm saying? You can go.
So would they be more if we were to do a big three? Would they be more big three over a duo? I'm not saying either way.
They would probably be top 3 big threes.
I'm just putting it out there.
They definitely would be in the top 3. Hell, even probably the top 2. For duo, I would say I don't like them in my top 5. And I gotta hear the names, but right now they're the first name to come out as a duo. But that's a good question you mentioned with the 3. Like that as a 3, I can't find 3 better guys. For me, they would be number 1. For me. But I always jump the gun, then somebody mentioned another group of 3 people. But I like those 3. I haven't seen a 3-headed monster like that. Like that.
I mean, that could be the next combo. Who the best,
We could. I don't get 5 3-headed monsters though.
Yeah, I mean, I just anytime I thought about that group, I always thought 3.
Yeah.
I couldn't see, and I'm not, like I said, I don't have a vote, but I couldn't see.
That's why I'm saying that's why I was saying no to a top 5 duo, because then you leaving Kendrick out, and it can go either circle, because they all 3 were great players, and I mean they were unstoppable together, man. I can't speak nothing but high things of them, even if they're not part of 2. Just
your former coach Ampbo. I mean, not your former coach Ampbo, but Ampbo said your former coach Scott had. He said they were known, or they called themselves a big 3. Say Scott even had shirts made for Lake Region stating we don't have a big 3. Anywho, my bad, Billy. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I know Monte was asking which duos won a state championship. Off the top of my head, I know TJ and Richard did. Baby and Marcel.
J Frog and Wheatlands.
J Frog and Wheatlands.
any comments, I don't even see them. I'm delayed over here.
You may not be able to see them on what we own. Like I got the live up on my phone.
Okay, y'all on Polk Hoops Live. That's what it is.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so we saying a question mark right now for BJ and PJ.
I said no.
You said no. Okay. What'd you say, Billy D?
I'd say no. Also, I mean the reason that y'all gave were influential. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't mention them two without mentioning the other one. You know what I'm saying? They just was a better duo than the other ones that we mentioned, and I think that's the reason why we put them in this conversation.
Gotcha. Okay. Next up, J Frog and Wheatlands, Bartow.
No.
I agree.
Yeah, when you speak the team thing, I get it, but top five, like they go down as a good combo for Bartow history, but top five duos in the past 20 years. Yeah, I mean, I love both of them. They're my guys, but I say no to top five. Yeah, no.
One definitely a 1-2 punch that was throwing haymakers. Like I said, it was more guys involved in that, but they definitely. Like Tumer said, was influential in Bartow and the rest of Polk County.
Okay. Hey, before you mention, I hope nobody ain't got Hernando County on their schedule. They don't decide to postpone indefinitely. They ain't even giving a time frame when they come back.
Well, I know Lake Gibson got Lake Gibson. If they still got the same schedule, they play Brooksville because CJ and them played them last year. Second game. So, all right. So Kathleen. Miguel Paul, Kevin Foster. Tumer boy.
Hey, K4 my boy, man. I just be messing with K4 because he can take it from me. I hope. K4 my boy, man. Okay. I be riding them guys here because that's my little circle of guys that I work with. Billy D can go on that one.
Can you do me a favor, Barnes? Name all of them again.
All of them, like everybody, or just all of them? Like Kathleen?
Yeah, name everybody.
Everybody.
So, right.
So once again, start from the jump. This is the round of 13. Brandon Giles, PJ Turner from Arbondale, J Frog and Wheatland from Bartow, Miguel Paul, Kevin Foster from Kathleen, Miguel Paul, Adele Bell from Kathleen, Rashad Anderson, TJ Walden from Kathleen, Quentin Everett, Richard Edwards from Lakeland, James Taylor, Chuck Williams from Haines City, Jarrell Blocker, Dominique Jones from Lake Wells, Marcel White, Russell Wilson, Baby from Lake Wells, Derek Simmons, Marvin Williams from Lake Wells, Dwayne Bacon, Corey Sanders from McKeel, Shabbat Phillips, Derek Scribner from Lake Region, Devin Walker, Chance McSpadden from Winter Haven. That's your top 13, your second round, your semifinalists, I guess, if you want to call them. And you all have already eliminated Brandon and PJ because they are more of a big three than a duo. And you say you eliminated J Frog and Wheatlands because it's more of a team per se than just those than a duo.
Okay.
All right. So Miguel Paul, Kevin Foster, Kathleen.
I say no. I like both of them, but what holds weight for them is that they played young. They were able to make 2 state championships. I think both of them should have had better stats than what they had. And it wasn't only them. They had help also. But they definitely was a great 1-2 punch. But as far as top 5, I'd say no.
Okay.
Yeah, I never liked that over Adele and Kevin's. I mean, Adele and Miguel. So I'm saying no. Okay. I watched that team. I just didn't see like Billy D said, they didn't dominate enough where I needed to see them. I see Miguel and Idell play together great on the circuit and at Kathleen. When they was on that circuit team, when they with Dominique.
Dominique,
right?
We had all four of them. We had Dominique, Kevin, Miguel, and Idell.
Yeah.
Okay, so to segue in, Miguel, Paul, and Idell Bell. And earlier, y'all said something about Dominique Davis. Did y'all want to add Dominique, or y'all good with Miguel?
No, they had to be mentioned.
Okay. Miguel, Paul, and Idell Bell.
I love that one, but I mean, I like to hear Billy D break it down and make me say no. Top 5 is just hard. I mean, it's hard to really put them.
Top 5 is tough. I said let's not.
So right now, you either gonna say no, or if you ain't got. Maybe do it this way. If we saying no, okay, but if you kind of in the air, we can just leave them. It can be a question mark and kind of revisit it, if that makes sense. Like y'all.
So, do you have an idea of your top 5, Tumer?
Yeah, I do.
I'd say go about it.
I was listening to him break the names down, and I had 8 names, and I just took off. I actually got down to 5.
Okay.
So y'all want to just skip that and just go right to y'all, both of y'all 5s, and see how they match up?
Yeah,
like the AP and the what they used to do back in the day, the Associated Press and the coaches poll, and see how they line up.
Yeah.
Well, let's do it that way then. Okay. Without further ado, Corey? We'll go with you first, Corey. So this is Corey Tumer's top 5, and then we'll do Billy D and see where we meet at in the middle.
My top 5.
Go slow now, so I can write it down.
My top 5. Number 1 would be TJ.
Not just people start thinking you're ranking. And so if you ain't ranking them, you just listing your 5. So
I was ranking them.
Okay, so you ranking yours. Okay, so your 1 is who?
TJ Walden and Rashad Anderson.
Okay.
Would be number 1. Number 2 would be Dominique Jones and Blocker.
Okay.
Number 3 would be hold on, them 1 and 2 was locked. The other 3 I'm gonna mention ain't locked in no top 5 order.
See, that's what happens when you start ranking. That's why you put yourself in.
I only got the top 2 that I got locked.
So I tried to help him Billy B. So he be ready to put numbers back there.
These other 3 can go either way. That makes sense.
But what I'm saying is, so like when we do the flyer and they say Corey Tumer 5 and say Billy D 5, you got numbers by yours. So you can't say I got 1 and 2, then the other 3 just ain't got no numbers.
We only gonna come to 5 though. Me and Billy D gonna agree to 5. We're gonna keep it like that, or we're gonna do a Corey Tumer 5 and a Billy D 5?
Well, we're gonna see first, but I mean it's good conversation. So all right, so so ain't no numbers for the other 3.
Derek Simmons and Marvin.
Okay.
Derek Striblin and Rashad.
Who? Derek Striblin. Oh, Shad and Derek Striblin. Okay.
And this just looking at this list, this one is interesting to me, right? Because they brought a different culture of basketball, and I don't know how to say it, but like when we talk about all the things we were talking about, they fit every category. And they put people in the stands to watch them. So my last one would be Corey Sanders and Dwayne Bacon.
Okay. Coach?
All right. The ones that I agree with, definitely a lot that I had was Rashad and TJ.
Okay.
I also had Corey and Bacon. You just can't deny the type of stats that they put up.
Them guys changed the culture, bro. No matter if they went to McKill and they didn't go to the Kathleen they made a culture of basketball that we hadn't had in some years. You got to respect that. You got to respect that.
That's them facts. Them big facts. They definitely are
Now,
like
they pulled a Fab Five. They didn't win nothing.
they all like the Michigan bag of short black footed sock. They kind of created a buzz. Yeah,
they pulled a Fab Five.
You know, like their stats is really good. You know, when you factor in overall where they get diminished at is that they really didn't go far in the playoffs. They will make the playoffs, but they really wouldn't go far. That was a knock on them.
Okay.
Those are the two that I agree with. Now the other three, I had Quentin and Richie. You know what I'm saying? They were co-player of the year at Lakeland. Both of them was close to 20 a game, and that was the 1-2 punch that they had at Lake. That was a true duo in a 1-2 punch at Lakeland. You know what I'm saying?
That was my that was in my top 6. I just tried to look at who would I say they were better than, and I wanted to hear from you. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't believe you ain't got Dominique and Blocker. Were they better than Dominique and Blocker? Because there's no way that I don't say that them guys didn't get mentioned. But if I had to break down 5, you see, I went with Corey and Bacon and at number 5, and they could have been. That's why I said they could have been 3 because we both feel like they deserve to be in there. Hey, you just put them at number 2.
So I said, I'm not ranking them. I'm just the first 2 I mentioned is the 2 that we agreed on.
Oh, okay.
You know, the
other 3 he's saying, so he not ranking. So Tumer be ready to put numbers by stuff.
No, but what I'm saying is like even if he's not ranking them, he don't got Dominique or Blocker on there.
Right.
That's interesting.
I haven't finished.
Guy.
He hadn't finished, coach.
I finished.
Okay.
Yeah.
He said we only agreed to 2. He said we only agreed to 2 people. That's why.
Oh, okay.
So I'll mention the other 3 that I had.
Okay.
All right. We agreed on TJ and Rashard, Corey and Bacon. Like I said, I like Quentin and Richie. You know what I'm saying? For the body of work that they put in, that team went all the way to the regional final. Both of them was co-player of the year in the Ledger. Like I said, both of them was close at 20 a game. I think that's a true duo.
They probably are the best duo. So that I got a question mark them. I'm with you on that.
So I had them down. I do have Dominique and Block down. You know what I'm saying? They, as sophomores, took a team to the Final Four. And then the next, they had the number 1 team in the state twice. You know what I'm saying? Basically losing in the regional finals to Kathleen year. You know what I'm saying? But definitely they were a 1-2 punch with Dominique leading the way. But Jarrell, you know, was right on his hip putting in work also. I mean, but they had a pretty good supporting cast.
Would you be a 3-time state champ if you had those guys? If you coached those guys?
Well, coach, you know, I was blessed with a gift, and I give all my, you know, praise to God for that. I'm just confident enough that I'm gonna have a chance. If I'm coaching a team and we there, that I have a chance to win. You know that
you took the easy way out. Hey, I thought I was gonna get you. I was gonna try you like I try everybody else. But I guess you took the easy way out on that. We'll leave it alone. You gonna be a nice guy.
Again, answer your question again.
If you coach those teams, if you're the head coach of those teams, do Kathleen beat you twice to go to state, or do you make it to state?
Oh, I make it a couple times.
Okay.
Okay. Who you fifth one, coach?
My 5th one was actually Devon and Chance.
You like Devon and Chance over Shadrick and D-Strip?
I do. I do.
Because they made it somewhere and their numbers was good.
Yeah, and you mentioned that, you know, you're looking at, you know, how they developed even afterwards and everything. I think overall they were 2 of the better players, you know, out of the duos that we mentioned, especially what they evolved into. You know what I'm saying? Plus, you know, they took the team to a Final Four also.
Okay, so we didn't agree on 2 people then, 2 groups. And I'm not mad. I mean, I like the Quentin. I mean, I think that Man, it was Quentin. So you feel Quentin was better than Derek and Quentin and Richie were better than Derek and Marvin?
By the criteria that we set, you know, and I would say yes. But if I chose a coach a duo, it's gonna be Derek and Marvin.
Gotcha.
Because
all right, so I'm gonna make that change, man. I'm gonna agree with you and add Quentin and Richie on, like, cause they was on my borderline with the Bacon and Core, to be honest with you. So I can't be mad at that.
They had a massive season they senior year, bro. Yeah. You got to give it to them on that.
And so y'all agree on 4. So you're down to 1. So these are the 3 for the one last spot. Then for you all to be totally in agreement. Derek Simmons, Marvin Williams, Derek Scribbling, Shard Phillips, Devin Walker, Chance McSpadden. Who get the last spot?
If I had to choose, I like Devon and Chan. Like I said, out of those, they made it to a Final Four. They average, as far as stat-wise, it was close to 40 points between the both of them. And both of them are, high major players.
Dang. Man, that's the one I can't get to switch out. I can't. It's hard to take out.
Do you want instead of 5? Do you want to do?
No. We're gonna get it to 5. That's my argument for them. It's really out of them and Derek.
If it was a pickup game. Derek and Marvin, them two. Who win the 2-on-2 game?
I like Derek and Marvin.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? For sure. And like, I'm not mad at having Derek and Marvin on there because, we talking about 2 6'6" guys that are skilled.
Yeah, I like Derek and Marvin. I just can't take Derek and Marvin off my list for chance.
Monty asked who took their teams further, and then Ampo gave his 5. So who took his team further? Devin and Chance went to state. Then Derek and Marvin go to state too?
No, they couldn't be Winter Haven.
So Devin and Chance went the furthest of that. To answer that question, Monty, Devin and Chance went the furthest, so they went to state.
Marvin went his senior year, but that was with Dominique and Block when they were sophomores.
For these duos, Devin and Chance are the one that went to state.
Yeah.
Ampo 5, he said TJ and Shard, Quentin and Richie, Block and Dominique, Shard and Stribbling, and Idell and Miguel. That's his 5.
Hey, you see my Idell Miguel coming up again. Not. Idell Miguel coming up again, cuz.
Neither one of y'all have him in y'all 5 though.
No.
Because I threw their names in later, and I didn't want to. We didn't even have them on the flyer, so I didn't want to jump the gun and just.
They was on the flyer.
No, they weren't on the flyer. They got put.
Idell and Miguel on when I was reading from the flyer.
Okay. I added them on there. They weren't in that list at the beginning.
Yeah.
Billy D was like, no, he took Kevin and Miguel.
Okay. So
I mean, that's a tough one with them. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna go with what I said. But we still looking at the last spot, right?
Yeah, I just like Derek and Marvin over Devon and Chance. I can't agree with that one, man. So Polk Hoops, you got to step in and be a vote.
No. But the thing is, though, looking at it now, Devon was a senior and Chance was a freshman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And Derek and Marvin, one was a junior, one was a senior. And if we're looking at that particular year, Derek and Marvin were tougher.
Yeah.
As far as maturity and the work that they put in together.
I even like Shardrick and Strib over Devon and Chance because Chance was a freshman coming in. Like they put up points, they did, but if it was 2-on-2 matchups, them two boys right there, Shadrick and D Strib eat them alive.
Yeah.
They were juniors, right?
You know,
Shaw was a senior and Stribble was a junior.
And making that point, I'll go with Derek and Marvin.
So Derek and Marvin get the last spot.
I say yes to that.
Okay.
Can we add 2 honorable mentions since it's a flyer?
Scribbling who's on the middle? Scribbling and Derek and Devin and Chance.
Yeah, no, Adele and Miguel and Scribbling and Shadrick. I'm just messing with Billy D. He want that 5.
I mean, it's on y'all, and they there.
I can't believe Ambo didn't like Corey and Bacon. I just think that what them two young men did, man, they just changed the culture.
Well, maybe I don't know if you're still on, but Ambo, why?
Chance say nobody eating him alive in 2-on-2. Your 9th grade year, Chance, you was a freshman, Chance. Them boys was juniors and seniors. That's the whole thing. If you and Devon would have played more years together as you got older, we're not talking about the senior Chance that I saw give Auburndale 40 plus in Auburn. We're talking about the freshman Chance. You know what I'm saying? So we want you to understand that. Like you just got mentioned highly as a freshman by Billy D, which is a lot of respect. I just think that Derek and Marvin, as older guys coming in, had a better 1-2 combo than you and Devon did when you was a freshman. That's all, Chance.
Billy D. So Jason Brown say rumor was that Bartow gave Lake Wells bad chicken at the district tournament in 06. That's how they got the upset. You ever heard that?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what happened. That week leading up to practice, leading up to that game was the worst week of practice ever for high school basketball. We come in there Monday to practice. They didn't come focused. Jimmy kicked them out the gym. They come in there Tuesday, basically do the same thing. He ended up running them all day on Tuesday. Wednesday, we were supposed to practice, but didn't practice because Jimmy had something came up at the last minute. You know what I'm saying? We played Bartow on Thursday because it's the semifinal. We weren't ready to play mentally. You know what I'm saying? We had a horrible week of practice, and they think just because they had beat Bartow by 20 or 30, them 2 times during the year, that it was going to be a cakewalk. And it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? It's just, we was unfocused during that week.
I didn't realize you was on that staff, man. What Coach Gibbons said about the assistant coaches, man? What did Coach Gibbons say earlier, man? You tried to hide right that question.
You know what I'm saying? And only thing, like Coach Gibbons said, my job is to assist the head coach. You know what I'm saying? I let him know, what my opinion was on it. But in the end, it's his decision, and we're going to have to go with that. You know what I'm saying? That was a tough team to coach. I'm not going to lie. There was a lot of egos on that team. There was a lot of egos. Then we had, parents feeling that they, kids should be touching the ball more. It was just a lot to deal with on and off the court with that team.
Wow. Would you say that was the most underachieving team?
Yes, by far. We was the number 1 team in the state that year.
And who was on that team that year?
Who was on that team? We had Dominique, was a junior. Block was a junior. TJ Hawthorne, Darius Daniels, Brandon Robinson was on that team. Peanut was the center. Who else we had? We had Arthur Barnes was on that team.
Who y'all dog? Who Bartow had to knock y'all off with all that?
Well, I can't even tell you. You know what I'm saying? I think Jeremiah Manning was on that team. And I think he was the best player on Bartow. But I can't even tell you who else was on there.
At Bartow, that's what happened? It was. Oh, okay. That had a lot to do with it. Bartow picked up 10 points at home.
But hey, man, we gonna be on here in a minute. So you send me them 5 over that we did.
So the 5, once again, TJ, Rashad, Dominique, Block, Quentin Ritchie, Simmons, Marvin, Bacon and Corey, honorable mention, Derek and Shad, Devin and Chance, Idell and Miguel. Shout out to everybody for participating. We know once we post it, we'll be a trash list. That just that's the going rate, that it's a trash list, because that's just what it is. So I don't know if you saw this, Tumer and Billy D. We've been talking about this. I don't know how much more time we got, but thought y'all to get a kick out of this one. The boy Mikey Williams, the number 3 player in the class of 2023, that got all this stuff started about committing and going to HBCU when we first started talking about the conversation. Well, he came down to his top 10 this week. He announced his top 10 yesterday. I don't know if y'all saw it, but I want to tell you, I want to run them down to y'all and get y'all a reaction to his top 10. All right. Kansas, Jayhawks, San Diego State, USC, Memphis, Arizona State, Alabama State, Hampton, Texas Southern, Tennessee State, and North Carolina Central.
I did hear.
PWIs, 5 HBCUs.
Yeah, I heard about that earlier, that he had 5 HBCUs on his list. In that kid particular case, I think his parents both played ball. I think one of them played pro or whatever. So, it kind of changes his dynamics compared to some of the other ones. I mean, I know Mo Williams is at Alabama State, and I'm pretty sure that's a strong influence there. I wouldn't encourage him to make that decision.
Well, this. I don't know if you saw the story that one of the top ones is North Carolina Central, which coincidentally is Brandon James' top school right now.
And and that's what we talked about last week.
They both 2023, so that could be a guard duo at Central in 3 years. Brandon James at the 1 and Michael Williams at the 2. What you think about that, Tim?
No comment. I ain't realized guys do a top 10 pick, so all that's media hype.
Bro, they do top 10 all the time, man. They drop them on Twitter all the time. The kids be saying they top 5 going up at 7 o'clock at PM. That's the thing to do now. Like Coach Gibbons say, that's the thing now. You drop your top 5 and your top 10, right, Coach?
Yeah, it is. I don't like it, but that's what they do. But I tell you, if both of them commit there, I guarantee you they get 1 or 2 more to go with them. I'm pretty sure that they're talking right now, and they're having these conversations about, changing the culture together. So if you get 4 or 5 of them to go to North Carolina Central, you talking about North Carolina Central possibly winning a national championship.
North Carolina Central, if they can get them 2 to go to North Carolina Central and at least 1 more, they can get the Sweet 16 with that team.
I agree with
that. Yeah, I like to see that. Hey, I got to run, man. I got to get these school supplies up to Simp for the supply drive on Saturday, man. So
HBCU run him off. So hey, man, we had a good show today, man. Appreciate the OG stopping through, man, and dropping some jewels. Hopefully, people was paying attention and listening, man. And everybody, y'all be safe this weekend. Shout out to we got 2 teams that's going. That's each one teach one having a tournament of champions this weekend at the Big House. Florida, Fill in the Lane, White, and Team T-Mac both will be participating over there on Saturday and Sunday. So good luck to both those teams this weekend as they go and try to win a championship. So, all right,
fellas.
Got nothing else, man. Y'all be safe, and we'll be back at it next week.
All right.
All right.